Hi guys, welcome back to another daily tarot card. These are your daily tarot cards for Friday, March the 24th, 2023. Today we're pulling from the Maccabee tarot cards. So we do see the divine. This is the high priestess, or they call it previously the high priestess. This is all about you going to your higher self, and that's when I say whomever you believe in, where we're talking about who we looked for guidance for. They are highlighting this moon cycle. So this is something we've been highlighting, but they were showing like the crescent until the full moon. But they are showing a cycle here, of higher self, following our gut feeling, following our intuition, listening to our higher self, channel messages. Very potent time. Heading into April, we will be in Mercury retrograde. So I feel like, we're going to have to really follow our intuition here. We have the Two of Bones here, and it's making a decision. I feel like as you're standing out, looking out at your future, and you see, what may be in front of you, I feel like the universe is supporting you in this. Unfortunately, anytime there's a retrograde, there are passings. We have the Five of Cups. This is talking about loss. Hopefully, it is not actually a physical passing with no harm to none, but there are some feelings of loss or sadness, depression, anxiety, isolation is what they're saying. Left out in the cold, it does happen, you know. You got to watch that shadow side and how they make you feel. Like, what is actual fact? Do not paint yourself in emotional prison. We do have the Hunter of Cups, and there was like, don't lose your head over this. And I feel like in your emotions. So this is where it leads to a panic attacks. We have to harness our strength. We have to harness our fire side. We will be in fire at this time with Aries in the sky. So bravery, courage, strength, resilience, leaving behind all fear, worry, and doubt. But it's hard to combat when we do have something that is pulling at our emotional heartstrings. What I felt is a really happy feeling with Passover, with Easter. It is a celebration of, family. That's what it's supposed to be, a celebration of faith, a celebration of the biggest love language of Yahweh, Yeshua, is that they took the place of us. When we talk about how many things have been blocked in our lives that we have no idea. And I'm sure when we transform, we will see those things, what they blocked us from, that didn't come to harm. We have the Ace of Cups. I feel like this golden time is coming in here. I feel like a sweet time is coming in here after we go through this retrograde. I feel like this is something that's going to carry forward for the next 5 to 6 years. That's going to propel you forward. But I feel like it's all based on this decision that we make here. And that's based on don't make yourself anxious. It's based on the choices we make every single day. Am I, we think of someone, am I going to text them? No, I'm bothering them. You know what I mean? It's just like all these different things. This person treated me this way when I went through it, so I'm going to be vindictive and treat them the same way. And then it's like, that's a choice on how you behave. You know what I mean? I really do believe, and I'm not trying to push my faith on anyone, but I do believe Yahweh or Yeshua, God, divine creator, universe, divine, are vindictive or testing or spiteful. I do believe they're merciful and loving, and they always try to guide us. Unfortunately, we don't always listen to their guidance, and that's when we end up in trouble. Or just, that is life. Things happen. Passings happen. People make choices that harm other people, which is so freaking unfortunate. I can't even fathom what is going in your head that you could think so carelessly about life. But this is what this time here is, is supposed to be, I guess. Just know that this will be temporary and that you will see the other side of things. And I feel like that's where we have to, they're saying resilience. So, you know what I mean? But it's just, I get it. This time of year, my dad's passing, it was on Easter, but the way that I see it, is that a huge blessing that God brought my children into my life. So this time isn't so potent. Some years it's still, you know what I mean? I see my kids and I'm like, my dad would love to hang around them. My eldest is named after him. So it's just like, like it's his namesake. And it's just like, I've seen him, especially with the things I've gone down past the last 3 weeks. He did not look happy at all. you know. In that scenario, I wish I could do more, but I can't go against my family, especially now that, there's another thing happening. So sometimes we go through these roller coaster rides in life, and it's just like, can I get off already? Like, you know, I kind of joke about it because I'm just like, I kept saying, is there a freaking retrograde going on here? Like, what the heck is happening? But I know in that situation that, it was propelling people forward. It's a rebirth in their life, and that's what they make of it. And unfortunately, some people don't learn, but, what can you do? So we're going to start with Divine as our first card. So previously, the High Priestess, divine knowledge, tapping into the collective unconscious. When I saw that post, it really resonated with me. It was, especially, sorry, that's just the coffin for the Maccabee Tarot. When they talked about Albert Einstein's birthday, I think it was last week or the week before, and they talked, and I kid you not, I was sitting there and I'm like, I should meditate with a tiger's eye and a rose quartz. And I had bought a bag of them. If you look at my feed, especially on TikTok, you'll see it, where I had got this bag where they would do the scoops, and you pay so much and you get one scoop, and then they send you like all these crystals. So I sat there and purchased one, and I got these beautiful spheres in there of tiger's eye and rose quartz. And I'm like, I should meditate with one in each hand. So I did I was about to do it, but it's been chaotic the past 3 weeks. So my son's like, you should do a meditation, Mom, because he could see that I'm all scattered. And they were talking about how Albert Einstein, before he would write all these, great, amazing things, he would sit there and meditate with 2 marbles in his hand. And then he would write all the, like, it's kind of like channel messages. And I'm like, what a blessing that is to harness into those messages. Like, I even talked about that earlier in the week where, there's certain people where they really came through, trusting me with their energy and trusting me to deliver those messages to their loved ones. And, I never promised that ever in a reading, but it's just like, especially someone I've read for a long time, he even said to her, like, I thought it was a waste of money. You know what I mean? But he could see, like, I saw what was going to happen, not to the extent, but, it's like she was really going through it mentally. And I'm just like, do I tell her this and send her off in a tailspin, and she could, harm herself before this even comes to pass? You know what I mean? And it's just like, as a healer, and I do ask her to forgive me, I tell her this, and she's just like, I'm sure she must have been upset, but, because I was upset when I wasn't told. But the thing was, like, she was in a real bad mental state. So the divine is the quiet voice in the back of your mind that says, don't go there. It's dangerous. It's the whispers in the night that reminds you to check your locks and to avoid turning down a dark alley. So I get this, I'll sit there and I'll check the windows, and one day they're just like, go check the windows. I was like, okay. So they were locked, but I sat there and they're like, turn the crank. So I turned it and it was actually open. So I was like thankful for, that I checked, and I just reminded the kids, like, yeah, I turned the sensors off for you guys to like open the windows, but, got to make sure you're closing it properly. It's your connection to the divine knowledge, the collective unconscious. Trust your intuition as it's telling you something maybe not willing to understand. Sometimes it's not that we're not willing to understand. It's just, we know who, like, I'm actually going through that right now. And it's like, I don't want to risk anything. You know what I mean? It was different when we lived in Toronto. It was just like, Shane would come home. I'd walk up with whomever, wasn't feeling well or whatever, take him to the walk-in clinic and done. So it's just like, I miss those days. And I know that we're being pulled towards that direction now. So planning moving forward. We're talking a lot about moving forward. You're being called to take new journey, but it's going to require a bit of planning. It's time for you to move forward, but make sure you lay everything on the table. So this could be like laying everything on the table. Maybe this is like where you kind of move forward in a relationship, and it's just like, let's put it all on the table, So it could be like that. Many shadows can lurk around the corners, so be prepared to deal with all of them. You know, anytime you level up in life, there always going to be some, person with their insecurities, g, and it's just like, you know what? You know, we were talking about, they're bringing this up now. Remember, as you lay it on the table and you're moving forward, that it doesn't only affect you, it affects others, you know? And I would never in a billion years ever want to go against my kids. They've had my back this whole time. I've had their back since day one, and that's never going to change. No matter if I'm 103, 130, a million years old, I will never in a million years turn my back against my kids, you know? So it's just like, that's why I make decisions based on us as a family. We make decisions as a family. We talk as a family, you know? That may not resonate with everybody, but not everybody has lived through what we've lived through, you know? My children had to grow up really freaking fast, you know? And it's just like, I want them to enjoy life, and not just be like, this is what your life is. And they will find that when, with me, a big thing is like after dad passed was like, 6 months later I met Shane, so it's just like my dad knew what I was petitioning for, and I was calling in Shane for a very long time. Someone like my dad, their birthdays are literally days apart. So grief, great sadness. With I hope and pray not. You know what I mean? I feel like calm down. This thing's been going off all day. I pray that we don't have to, but you know what I mean? It could be something comes up. It could be something as simple like I was saying, not simple, but where it's just like Easter is a trigger where it brings up a lot of that with my dad, but it's just like, see the happiness in it. When, we would put the baskets at the kids' feet and they would wake up and they would have put on their bunny ears and they were all excited. It's like, think about those things. Think about like the Easter hunts and, we're decorating cookies this year. It's like, we bought decorations for Passover, so like, our family has really evolved, so it's just like, those are the things, yeah, we could, if it does come up, it's just like, it's there. But at the same time, it's like, Yahweh and Yeshua, divine creator, always try to bring in something that will try to numb that pain out. So you're suffered a great loss and it feels as though you'll never experience happiness again. Everything hurts. You're not sure where to go next. You're consciously being told to move on. But taking a moment to sit in your grief and give yourself space can be the best choice. Allow yourself to feel the emotions before you force yourself to move through them. So I definitely feel like, Joan Rivers, I feel like she says the words harshly because it resonates. You know what I mean? She's like, have your pity party, but then you get up and you fight. I feel like it's like pushing you. It's not that she's like, picking on you, like you're feeling your feelings, but I've seen and read for people where, oh my goodness, where they have, unfortunately, doctors like to prescribe. And when you go through a tragedy like this, they feel empathetic, and I feel like that's how they feel like that's how they're helping, which I understand, but it's like to prescribe someone 6 medications, you know what I mean? After they lost someone, it's just like, well, you know what I mean? Like, you have to feel those emotions. I know you don't want us to feel those emotions, but it's like, you're going to make an addict out of that. And I know someone that I've read for that has turned down that path, and she's slowly dying because she grieves her husband so much. And it's like, we can't bring him back. But now, instead of feeling anything, she's learned to numb it because that's what she was taught. Why feel things when we can numb it out with this? So now she's always looking for that to numb out the pain. And she's basically destroyed herself. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's really sad. And that's why I always, one particular person in my mind, it's just like, I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I just don't want to see you go down that path because I know you've gone through a lot before all this happened, but she's a lot stronger than anyone realizes. Highly intelligent, I'm really proud of her as far as she's come, It's just, we don't hear those things, Nobody knows how to talk to widows and widowers, It's just like, No one ever applauds them for freaking picking themselves back up, rebuilding their life, and making it what it is now, you know? And that's why I always applaud her for that. So, strength, emotional strength, courage. Strength shows up when you need it most. I think I overlooked that Hunter of Cups, so I'll go back to that after this. So, when you're at your absolute rock bottom and ready to turn to dust. I wouldn't go so far ready to turn to dust. I feel like it's just like, can we get off this roller coaster? It's your final push, the one that saves your life. When you're feeling completely broken and lost, take a deep breath. And take a deep breath. Long look at yourself. And you have what it takes to survive. And you are so much stronger than you think you are. Keep going. Persevere. Don't give up. You know what I mean? Especially right under that Five of Cups. You know what I mean? It's just, ugh. You know, we went through something and I was just like, you know, talking to someone, I'm just like, I'd rather be at work to preoccupy my mind, you know? And it's just like, you know, it's still there. But you sit there and you realize that, you know, this person, like with us, it's someone that's in an outer circle. And it's just like, you know, you feel for them. But it's like the best way to help them is to love them at a distance. That is the only way things are going to change, you know? So, you know, well, kind of that it gets in your head, but you got to learn how to push forward. So, going back to the Hunter of Cups is codependency. And there you go. And that's the biggest thing. It's like we were helping them by, you know, it's not trying to make them codependent, but we thought we were helping them by doing things for them. And then that, unfortunately, made this codependent kind of toxic relationship. You know what I mean? They never learned to be independent. I feel like they are very strong and independent, but I feel like they need, you know, some help there. The Hunter of Cups is the heart of cards. It is the empath, soft and balanced. It nurtures others. So, you know, in the reverse here, it's like you're not being, you know, you're not reaching any empathetic people. You know, you're not getting that soft and balanced, you know, heart. You're getting this harshness. You know what I mean? But not at the cost of its own well-being. Always make space for your own joy and the joy of those around you. And I feel like it's just like you got to find joy in yourself. You make you happy. Not Prince Charming, not when you're $1 million richer, not when you're 100 pounds lighter, not when you fit into a size 0, even though you've had kids and your hips have spread, you know. It's just like, you know, unless you go have surgery and crank those babies back together, you know, it's just like everybody is different. You know what I mean? Yes, Hollywood has body makeovers. Well, not all of us could afford $100,000 after pushing out a kid. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, you got to come to grips with your reality and the world that you're in. And it's just like, you know, got to love yourself at every phase of life. You know, we're not always going to like the way we look, not our jobs or this or that. But it's just like, you know, finding things that make you happy, you know, for things that put a smile on your face. You got to make sure that you are happy. You got to make sure that you're bringing happiness into your day-to-day life. I wake up, you know, and every day in every way, my life keeps getting better and better. I see the sunrise. Thank you, God, for another beautiful, blessed day, for allowing us to lay down in peace and sleep in your protection, for, you know, keeping us united as a family, you know, because we know firsthand that, you know, we make plans and unfortunately sometimes, like Shane, there's a passing. We had plans for that night. You know, we had discussed them. Don't, you know, I made a lasagna. He said, don't let anyone eat my lasagna. I'm going to eat it when I get home. I'm like, yep, no problem. You know, it's just like things happen. Use your strong intuition. So here we go with intuition again. To provide just the right comfort to those you love. And you cannot pull from an empty cup. Going back to the Queen of Cups, following your intuition, I know when I need to sleep in. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sleep. You know what I mean? I need it. You know, I used to sit there, oh, you're lazy, you're this or that. It's like you did so many readings, you did work, you did this, you did that. It's like, how are you lazy? That's what the world wants you to think. That's what your shadow side wants you to think. You don't sit there and start listing, well, I went to work and I worked my full shift. I sit there and do, like, I'm just using myself as an example. I did, so, such and such readings. I did my dailies. I did this. I did that. I did this and I did that. And it's just like, is that lazy? No. It's just, there's only so many hours in a day, you know? It's just like, you show up and you do the best you can every single day, and that's that. You know, you can't sit there and be online and compare your life to everybody else's. You are living your life. Do what makes you happy, even if other people don't understand it. You know how many people sat there and it's like, oh, you're full of poop. After Shane passed away, nobody wants to talk to me. Oh, no one wants to deal with the sad person. I'm like, that's okay. But now when they went through, oh, I never understood. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. So, Ace of Cups. So, we have some positivity along with the Strength card. New feelings, passionate beginnings. Ooh, I love the finger hanging out of the cup. It's like, oh my gosh. A beautiful, abundant beginning is on the horizon. And that's what I mean. It's just like, I even said that to someone that's going through a storm. And I said, you know what? Now that you've done that, this has happened. I said, now you're going back towards the light. You know what I mean? Like, you got to remember that. Rather than being held down by the weight of old heartbreaks, be open to new love. Your heart is driving you, so listen and follow the lead. And this is where I feel like it's like following your intuition. I feel like maybe this is where spirit is kind of like where they brought up like it doesn't only affect you, it affects others. You know, but it's also like I have concerns from the past, from previous things. And it's like I can't bleed that out onto the next person. You know, I have fell for someone, and as the year went on, it's just like, yeah, you know what I mean. But it's like, at least, I didn't get into a relationship or anything. It's like I got to know them, and there was things there that I'm like, you know. So I feel like it's like with anything, it's like, especially when they're like, let's be friends first and then see if we should be coming into a relationship. So it's just, but at the same time, we can't sit there and, punish someone for someone else's mistakes, you know, but we can be conscious, of how we do something next. Are we going to be perfect every time? Heck no. You know what I mean? A lot of us, especially myself, I'm a hopeless romantic. Me and Shane were like a lightning bolt. And it's just like, kids and this and that. And we evolve so much. You know what I mean? So it's just like, grateful for the happy times, grateful for the time we had together. And that's all we can do. Move forward, So, just be kind to yourself. Do things that make you happy. If you want love to come into your life, we did have that Knight of Cups, and we had the Two of Cups, or was it early this week? Yeah, I believe it was this week, with the Dragon Tarot. It's like, welcome in with open arms, and see where it takes you. But take your time. We kept getting that since last year. With the Dark Shadow Knight of Pentacles. He's actually literally on one knee. And they had the King of Pentacles. And I felt like a proposal, and I feel like he will become like that monarch in your family, like the emperor. You know what I mean? So it's just like, be kind to yourself. You are worthy of love. When Yahweh and Yeshua, divine creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, divine, your higher self, is ready and open for that, it will come into your life. I definitely believe that. It's usually when you're not looking for it is when you find it. But just be kind with yourself. Be conscious. Keep it light and airy. You have happy times coming up. Enjoy it. Because I don't know. I feel like this retrograde may be a little rough, but usually when I have a rough start to before retrograde, it's like my retrograde goes good. And then I'm like there trying to help everybody else out, like pick up the pieces. It's like, oh dang, But do your meditation. It does work. If you meditate before a retrograde, it does make it easier. You don't feel so anxious. And then, just carry forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Friday, March 24th, 2023. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next Daily Tarot card. Have a safe and happy weekend.